I'm Dane Shitagi. I'm a photographer, and the concept I got was giant.
Dane, you got probably what was my favorite subject tonight. Or
Yeah,
yesterday.
there was
How'd that go?
so many ways to interpret giant. So when I was making calls last night, starting to plan this out for today, I was just, discussing with my subjects sort of the whole idea of giant and how to interpret it. And in a lot of ways, it kind of came to that conclusion. We didn't want to be too literal in some ways, and we wanted to sort of have the image itself or the posture of the subject matter to embody giant more so than to work with something big or something scaled or something dwarfing something or stepping on something or that that people would typically think of what a giant or something big or something enormous would be. But practically what I did was took the concept of giant and worked it within the types of photography I normally work with. And I actually did two different concepts today, just in case one fell through and I wasn't scrambling at 2 o'clock in the afternoon the day before Easter trying to find somebody or something to photograph. So I worked with two different concepts, and the first concept I worked with is I do a lot of work with dancers and ballet dancers in particular. So I called up one of the dancers I work with we work together on a frequent basis, over the last few years. So I can call her up at 10:30 at night and say, hey, I got this, creative thing I need to do, and I bounced the idea off of her. And by coincidence, her and her husband were rehearsing for a gig coming up at the Duke Theaters, which is a beautiful dance studio right in the heart of 42nd Street. A lot of people don't even know that it exists there, but it's in the middle of that Times Square craziness, and it's like a huge, I think 10 floors of dance studios, and they have huge 20-foot ceilings, and the windows pretty much go from the bottom all the way to the ceiling. So it's sort of, you have a big, huge view of 42nd Street. So I pretty much grabbed my friend Violetta after they rehearsed that day, and we shot about 15 minutes along with the idea of giants. And I guess of the two things I did today, working with Violetta and ballet and dance, it actually turned out to be more literal than the fashion thing I did later in the afternoon.
That sounds beautiful.
I guess just ballet in general is, it's very expressive. It can, the body language, the gestures, all of that is really.
Emotion is the emotion of dance. Is giant in itself.
It's giant in itself.
That's pretty awesome.
And the fact that she was in a perfect space that was indoors on a cold day like this today, and it had giant windows looking over 42nd Street, which is sort of the heart of the. If you look at the city as a giant or a beast, or
what's so elegant? I like that execution because the phenomenal elegance or the contradiction of the elegance of ballet with the idea of the word giant, because the word giant usually means rough,
right,
big, and without connotations.
Right, without boundaries or something.
Yeah, or just it's a more savage word.
Right.
And if you use that within the context of the elegance of ballet, I think that's an incredible interpretation. So,
well, for myself, I felt it's always best to, especially when you have such a short deadline, to fall back to things that you understand and know and you worked with, and especially people you've worked with and trust. And I felt like, when you were talking yesterday about the collaboration, that was, for myself, I photographed mainly people, and that collaboration and working with people you understand and working with with dance as itself already an art and an expression, that's what I normally gravitated towards.